Gentlemen, thank you for your service here. General Clark, I want to, well, both you and General Nakasone, I think you are two of our best four-star commanders focused on lethality, warfighting, crushing our enemies when called upon, and I just really want to thank you for that. And General Clark, for your service. If you're going to be retiring soon, I hope you're not retiring soon, but I understand it's maybe close to 40 years now, so good luck with everything, but you've done an exceptional job, both of you have. Let me, I just want to emphasize what Senator Cotton mentioned, General Nakasone, on the intel sharing piece. I think you would get, I know you can't say a lot here, but I think it's strong bipartisan support to the extent we can share as much intel, of course, without compromising sources and methods, with Ukrainian forces, including in eastern Ukraine. I think it's really important, and I think I'm speaking for a lot of senators on this committee. General Clark, I have a kind of a multi-part question. Could you elaborate a little bit on SOCOM's role in building out Ukrainian special forces over the last several years? And then what lessons are we applying with regard to what we've learned there to Taiwan Special Forces? You know, one of the things that you mentioned in the What We Do section of your vision for SOCOM is helping shape the environment to reduce risk, prevent crises, and set conditions for success in competition and conflict. And I'd like to get a little sense, to the extent you can talk about it here, on what we're doing to help Taiwan the way we've helped Ukraine, particularly in the SF world.
Senator, when we first started training with the Ukrainian Special Operations over 8 years ago, they were a smaller force, and they did not necessarily have a SOCOM-like headquarters. That force grew to 3 brigade equivalents commanded by colonels and a training regiment. And they also, over the last 18 months, added a resistance company made up of what we would like a home guard that was embedded in each one of those. And that was through the persistent effort of not just the U.S., but we also brought in allies from other NATO countries.
And you're seeing, obviously, some of the success of that training and structure in the current conflict.
Yes, Senator, we are.
What about Taiwan, to the extent you can talk about that?
Senator, I would prefer to talk about Taiwan in a closed setting, but broadly, building both resistance and resilience in the force. Resistance being the ability to give the punch, but resilience being the ability to take the punch and make sure you can get back up through medical training, through logistics, and through communications is critical. And I think we got to work on both of those with other nations writ large.
Let me ask a question for both of you, kind of again a two-part question. General Clark, Rear Admiral Howard recently wrote a piece in USNI and talked about making sure our Special Operations Forces were combat ready for new tactics, techniques, particularly in some of the most stressing environment and hard target conditions. And he talked about SOCOM competition in the high north. And are there initiatives that you are undertaking? And General Nakasone, can you talk a little bit about what NSA Alaska has been doing, the capabilities that they bring? Even a lot of Alaskans aren't aware of the great work that goes on, particularly as it relates to Russia and other places, that goes on in the high north of America and Alaska with the build-out and exceptional work that NSA Alaska is doing. General Clark, can you take that question first, then General?
Yes, sir. I just left Norway less than 10 days ago, where I observed our Special Operations Forces working in the 200 miles north of the Arctic Circle, using all of their capabilities, insertion clandestinely, looking at hard targets, working with partners. Simultaneously, as you know, there was another exercise going on in Alaska where we also had a large contingent of all elements of our Special Operations Command practicing, experimenting. And so just this alone highlights for you the importance of training inside the Arctic for those hard targets in the future.
Thank you. General Nakasone.
Senator, geography matters. And as we take a look at our ability to provide both indications and warning and awareness of the Pacific, a critical element of this is what the men and women at NSA Alaska are doing today. And so that location in your home state has provided us insights into our adversaries' actions and provided protection to our forces that are deployed in that region.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.